Good morning and welcome to today's stream. So in today's stream, what I'm going to be doing is copying one of my landing pages into ActiveCampaign. Now this is something that I've been asked numerous times by clients, so I thought I'll take on the challenge of copying one of my landing pages so we can see the whole process and see how easy it is. So let's get into today's stream. As you may have noticed, I've changed a few things around and I've actually added in some extra cameras as well. So I now have a behind the scenes shot so you can actually see my setup and see how I'm actually running this, as well as my Chester cam. Now Chester is our dog and he's actually quite knackered at the moment because we've just been on a 7k walk this morning, and yes, even in this weather. So he's now sleeping and hopefully for most of the day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the landing page that I'm going to copy across, which is my online marketing starter guide, and we're going to copy that into ActiveCampaign. So this is the landing page here. It's very basic. There's not much to it, but it does have a pop-up box. Now, when you're looking to move your landing pages to ActiveCampaign, some things that you do have to consider is that ActiveCampaign doesn't have all the features yet that all these other dedicated landing page builders have, and one of them is the pop-up box. So when kind of moving across, just take this into consideration because you're going to have to make some design changes as you go along. Now I actually recreated this page last night so I could actually show you what we're aiming for before we get started. So this is the actual page in ActiveCampaign. Now, as you can see, most things are very similar. The big difference is that I don't have the pop-up box. I have the form just at the bottom here, and that's just because ActiveCampaign doesn't have that feature yet. But most things are the same. The only other difference is on this one, we have a bit of a what they call a parallax feature with an image behind and a color overlay. Unfortunately, again, you don't have that in ActiveCampaign, but it doesn't really matter. We still get the same page, etc. And at the moment, whenever you create a landing page with an ActiveCampaign, you're going to have this right at the bottom where it says built with ActiveCampaign. At the moment, you can't switch that off. So as I said, a few different design changes that we need to look at. So let's get into ActiveCampaign and I'll show you how we build this. So I've just gone into the site button here, and it's just given me the area where we can build those landing pages. Now you can create folders, so you can then organize all your landing pages depending on what they're for. So I've just created this online marketing starter guide one, and these are the two live pages. So it's actually the thank you page as well. So that's the original thank you page, and this is the one that I've created on ActiveCampaign. Very similar, I just haven't put the big photo of me on there. So what I'm going to do to actually get started is I'm going to click on this add a new page button. Now as I go along, if there are any questions that you'd like me to answer, please just put them in the comments below and I'll make sure that I answer them for you. Now, as all of the page builders, we do have a lot of different themes that we can use. Now when I'm building this, you might think, oh, we're just going to go start off with a blank one, but I'm not. I'm actually going to look at their lead generation layout because it kind of gives me some structure already that I can use. I'm going to use that template. and I'm just going to call this guide demo. So that's what my page is going to be called now. I'll click on save, and it's now given me this kind of template to start with. Now if I go back here, you can see, you know, I've got two sections, and it's mainly, this top section is mainly white. So I'm going to go back to this part here, and I'm going to first click on this top section, so that I can then change some of the settings here. Now I don't want this button here. I think that's just there for as a guide when people are first creating their pages, so I'm just going to delete that. The other thing that I want to do is I want to make this background white. So I'm just going to click on this, and I'm just going to click on white here. So now that has made that white. The next thing I want to do, well, one of the things that you can do is that ActiveCampaign works on the theme colors. So if I click on theme here at the top right, it's giving me the color palette. Now these aren't my brand colors, so if I just go up here, I already have them, some of them saved. So I want to use this blue. So I'm going to use that as the main color. Now, as you might have seen on here, I've got this dark blue down here as well. So I've got that color saved. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that in there as well. Now this is just going to give me the color, so it's easier for me to go through now and add those colors where I need them to. So if I go back to blocks, the next thing I want to change is the logo. So if I click on logo and click on replace, now I uploaded these, like I said, last night when I recreated the page. So I'm just going to select one here, but if you don't have them uploaded already, you can just go down to the bottom here and click on upload, and then just select them from your computer. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to say use image. So now I've got my logo in there. I'm not going to put a form in here. If I go back to this, I've first got my heading all the way across. So I'm going to go back here. I'm actually going to delete this, and I'm just going down to the top here, to the trash can, and click on that. So I've still got my two columns here. I don't want that column, so I'm going to click on this box so it's highlighted like that, and hit the trash can again. Now I'm kind of starting to get my layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy the text directly from that page, go in here, and now I'm just going to select this heading. Always good if I actually go to the editor, and I'm going to paste. Now this heading is way too big, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select it, and I'm going to click on this icon here, which is the text size, and I'm just going to go and minimize it. So 70%, that looks good to me, and I want to center it, so I'm just going to do that. Now if you wanted to, you could put kind of a subheading down here. I don't want one of those, so I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to delete that as well. So even though I've started off with a template, I am deleting a lot, but it's already kind of given me a lot of these sections already, so that I don't have to rebuild everything from scratch. So my next part is going to be these bits here. So what I can do is click on row, drag it across, and I want that row just there. Once I've done that, I can then click on a column, and then just put it either on either end, doesn't really matter. And now I've got my two columns back, but now I've got the structure that I want. So what I can then do is just drag this image block to this area here. And once that's actually done, one thing that I have found with this editor is that it can be a bit slow, and sometimes it actually loses its connection. At the moment, you just need to bear with that. I think it's something that's still being worked through. So if I click on the book image, I'll use that image, so now I've got that in there. If I look back, okay, I've now got a bit of a heading there. So I'm now going to click on this paragraph and put it in there. You could use a headline, but then it starts using other tags in there, and I don't really need the kind of the header tags. So again, I'm just going to go back to this one, copy it, and paste. And when you're copying it across, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to go and retype everything. You can just literally copy and paste. So again, this here needs to go a little bit bigger. So let's say I want that at 130. I also want to change the color. So you can see it's got some of the colors up here, and I'm going to choose that one. Now this is what I was what I just said, where sometimes it does lose its connection. I don't know why it does this, but it can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you're trying to show this live. So I'm just going to retry connecting now, and let's hope it reconnects. Now I did have this issue a little bit last night as well. It is frustrating, but it does normally just reconnect. So let's just give it a few seconds, and hopefully it's now reconnected. So that looks relatively similar. I think the one thing I just need to do is make this bold so it stands out. So I've now got that in there. The next thing is going to be the bullet points. Now ActiveCampaign actually do give you a list block, so I can just go in there and drag that across and click on it, and you can see here now I'm starting getting my items. Now the one thing you might want to do is change this arrow. So I click on it, and I did import two different types of arrows on here, so you can choose whichever one you want. Let's just use this one. And when you do choose it, make sure that you do have a one that's got a transparent background, otherwise you might get a little bit of the color coming through around it, especially if you're using a white background. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to select all of this now as well. And I'm just going to go in here and double click, paste it, and then I'm just going to make sure that it's all formatted correctly. So I'll just go back in here, and there we go. That's all done. And now I want to add other ones. I'll just go back to this on the right hand side here and just click on this little plus box, and I can go in and do the same with all of these. And again, we lose connection. Unfortunately, if it is something that you are looking to do to move your landing pages to ActiveCampaign, you might come up against this as well. For the moment, just bear with it. It does normally just reconnect within a few seconds. It can be frustrating, but I'm sure it will get resolved going forward. So now I'm just going to go through and quickly copy all these ones. And if you do have any questions regarding anything that I'm doing today, please leave a comment below, and I will make sure that I answer it for you. So as you can see now, I've now got all my bullet points in there. We're starting to get it to look a little bit like this. Now before I go and actually look at the form, I'm going to now create this section below here. So if I go back to there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this section. It's actually going to be easier to recreate it. So if I just go on there again and just click on delete, and I'm now deleting that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to delete these icons down here as well. So now that I've got that, I'm just going to have a look. This is the structure. So quickly go back up here and add in another row. Now what I want to make sure, actually, before I do that, let's just delete that, is I wanted to make sure that it's in its own section. So yeah, let's just leave that in there. And again, as before, I'm just going to add in this column. Now again, I'm just going to go and put this image block in there. Wait for it to set it, and then I'm going to choose this image. So now I've got that image, and I want this text. So I'll copy that across, and I'm just going to put it in the paragraph again. So it's got everything in there. For some reason it's messed up my name, and I'm just going to put that in there. Now what I want to do is I want to add a background to this. So I've just clicked on that whole row, go here to background, click on the plus button. I want a color, and you can see that there now. So if I click on that, again, for some reason it's now lost the colors that I wanted, so I click on that, and you can see these colors have now defaulted back to what they were. It's another little bug that I've found last night, and I'm hoping it will be resolved, because it does become quite annoying when you're creating these pages and you think you've got the colors right, only to find out that they've now reset again. So let's quickly just add these in again. So we've now got that back to how it was. So if I click on here, the background I want is the darker blue. I want, if I go and edit this, I want this in white. I want this in this blue, and I want this in white. And I'm actually going to make this slightly smaller. So let's have it like that. This author we're going to have a bit bigger. So as you can see, this is the process in which you're going to use to copy your landing pages across. Now let's just hope it reconnects. My internet is not down, otherwise this live stream wouldn't be going out. So I'm just waiting to see if that connects. Now the other thing that you're going to want to do is create your thank you page. Now again, just use one of their templates. It is their thank you template, and then just customize it how you want it. Again, I've just gone in there and just added my logo, changed it from some of the grey backgrounds to white, and changed some of the wording, and that's all I've done on this page. Let's go back and see if we reconnected. Not yet. Now if I click on reload browser, because that doesn't seem to be doing anything, if I click on reload browser, I might lose some of the things that we've just done. So let's have a look. So yes, it's changed again the theme colors back. So let's just go and get these back again. Once you create your page in ActiveCampaign, the design of it, and that, you know, I can't fault it, it does look pretty good. It's just these nuances now when you're actually trying to build it and you're coming against these disconnection problems and stuff like that. It can be a little bit annoying. So again, let's just quickly go in here. I'm not going to change these now because I don't want to get this disconnected. I want that image to come slightly down, so I'm just going to click on that, and I'm just going to click on this inner spacing, and I'm just going to click on the top, and I'm going to just put in 10, and that look similar to how I've had it on the main page. So I've got all of that. There are a few things that we can tweak on here, but I want to get to the main part of it, which is creating the form. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to publish this page. Now it does give you these other settings, so you can look at the settings like to do the SEO side of things, so you can do that before you're publishing it. I'm just going to publish this at the moment. And once it's published, if I click on here and go view live, this is what the page looks like live. Now as you can see, it looks very similar to what we were aiming for, and the one that I did last night. So you know that's pretty good. So what I want to show you now is you can create your thank you page. I'm not going to show you that because it is, again, very similar. If I just go into the design of the one that I did last night, as you can see, it is a very simple design, and then I can just get the link for that. So my suggestion, and it's what I do when I build all my landing pages and connect them to CRM systems for all my clients, is I kind of work backwards. Now, because we're already doing this in ActiveCampaign, you should already have your list and all that set up, if that's how you collecting the details and then firing off your automations. I would then also actually create the thank you page first. Now, the way we're doing it, we'll do this. So when you setting up your landing page, make sure that you've got your lists and all that, the automations kind of set up so that it's all connected. Then create your thank you page, make sure it's live so you get the link. You can then go and create your landing page so that you can see whereabouts you're going to put your form. Now once you've done that, you can publish it like I've just done it here, so you can make sure that those changes are saved. But then what you want to do is, because within the ActiveCampaign page builder, you can't directly connect it to a list or a form as of yet. It does give you those options for forms, but it actually doesn't link to anything. So if you use those forms, you can't fire off automations or anything like that at the moment, which I'm hoping they're going to change, because it'll just make it so much easier, especially when you're trying to design the form to fit in with everything else. So once you've done that, I'm actually going to go into forms now. So this is the form section within ActiveCampaign. So you can go and you can create your form. Now that's the one that I've now currently got on the page. So I'm going to create a form from scratch, called this guide demo. We're going to do an inline form. We're going to subscribe them to my master list, and we're going to click on create. So now you've just got the normal ActiveCampaign forms, and you can go in here and change this text. So over here, if I look on this page here, I put in just to enter their details, so we could do that again. And I forget that this editor is done on here because it's HTML code. So we'll just make sure we do it between those tags. So now I've got that in there. The other thing that I want to make sure is I don't want the full name, I want just first name. So if I go to standard, just drag first name in there, it will just change it for me. I also don't want this ActiveCampaign branding. So if I go to style, and go all the way down to the bottom, I can switch off AC branding. I also want to change the button. Now this is where I can go and change the color of the button. So I've got the yellow that I used, I've got that saved up here. And I'm going to change it. So now I've got that there. I also want to change the text of this button. So if I just click on it and say send me the free guide. So that's now changed it. Now you've got two options. You can keep it as this kind of stack view, but as you can see here, it wouldn't quite fit on this design. So what I did on this page is I actually went for this one here, which is the side by side. It just allows me to add it in better. So once I've done all of that, the other thing I want to do is go to options and the thank you page. Now, as I said, you wanted to get your link to your thank you page. What I've got here is I've got this one, which I created last night. So I'm just going to copy that link. And on submit, I wanted to open the URL. So I'm going to put the link to that thank you page in there. It is subscribing to the master list, but I also want to change I don't want the opt-in confirmation. So I'm going to switch that off. Now I've done that. I can now click on integrate, and it's now giving me this code. So I want to copy this code and then click on save and exit. I want to then go back to my landing page that I've just created. Click on edit the design, and I'm going to add in a new block, which is this one here, the embed block. Put it in there. Come in here, remove that code that's already in there, and paste the code that I've just got. And then just click out of that. And now you can see that that has now got this form on it. And we've now lost some of the colors again. So I'm just going to publish this. ActiveCampaign, can you please make sure that that stops happening, because it can become quite annoying. So now if I go back to the page that we've just created and I now click on refresh, you can see now we've got that. You can see the colors have now changed back, but we're not going to worry about that at the moment. And I just want to test it, so I can put in my name in there, and I'll put in a test email account and just say send me the free guide. So that's now submitted, and I've now been taken to the thank you page that we set up. Now to know that that has worked, if I go back to ActiveCampaign and actually go to forms, you'll see that this guide demo one that we just had has had one entry in there, and if I click on it, it gives me details, and you can see these are the ones here. So that's not been put into the right list, and if I've got automation set up, it will fire that off. So that's how you quickly go and you create the pages within ActiveCampaign. So if you want to copy your pages across, then you can do it. There are some design limitations that you're going to have to bear in mind when you are doing this. So if you do have more complicated pages, then it might not be the best case to move it across, especially if the platform that you're currently using might have checkout options and stuff like that. ActiveCampaign doesn't have that, so you do have to take that into consideration as well. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video today on how to copy your landing pages into ActiveCampaign. And if you have enjoyed it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel and clicking on the notification button, and you get notified when I next post a video. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next one.